I like having hands. You need them for so much stuff. Drawing, driving, gaming, but also the mundane things like brushing your teeth or opening doors. It sucks not to have hands. And when you lose the ability to use your hands, you are painfully reminded just how much you use them on a daily basis. I struggled with carpal tunnel syndrome for years, and it baffled me just how much I didn't know about the condition. With a little more knowledge, I might have been able to see the signs early on, take action, and save years of my time. So let me tell you how I got it, how I dealt with it, and how I eventually overcame it, so you can learn from my experience or just enjoy my tragic backstory. Oh, and by the way, I haven't had much time to work on my animation film, so I'll do that in the background. I remember watching the fireworks on the New Year's Eve as 2019 shifted into 2020. I had a lot of ambition for that year. I was supposed to graduate, would get a big girl's job, and I had plans to travel to Japan. There were some vague rumors spreading about something with bats and a virus all the way over in China, but that seemed far away and irrelevant. Yeah. So, for those of you who live in blissful ignorance, RSI stands for repetitive strain injury, which basically means that you injure a body part by asking too much of it for too long. If you work a lot with your hands, you can get a type of RSI called carpal tunnel syndrome, which refers to a small opening in your wrists through which tendons and nerves from your fingers connect to your arms. If these tendons and nerves get irritated, they swell, and because the opening is so narrow, you'll feel a tingling sensation in your fingers and some pain. The worse the swelling is, the worse the pain is. Your hands also get a little shaky and over time, weak. Rest will usually solve this. It started for me when I had a period where I worked a lot on my laptop. I was writing my dissertation and the script for my graduation animation during the day and played video games in the evenings. The world was in lockdown, so I only came outside to buy groceries. After a couple of days of this, my fingers got tingly and stiff. After I slept each night, it disappeared, so to me it appeared I was doing great. I worked hard, to the limit even, and then I rested. Except that after a while, that stiffness persisted into the next day. So I worked a little slower, took a walk in the afternoon, then watched a movie instead of playing a game. The next day, my hands felt a little better, so I worked a little harder. Then I woke up with pain, so I took a little more rest. You see where I'm going with this, right? I was in the middle of a downward spiral. Actually, scratch that, I was at the beginning and I didn't know how much further down it could go and would go. Once I had pain that persisted for days, I knew that I needed to stop working for a bit. I started binging series and reading books. It entertained me for a while, but then the urge to make things got too strong. I was at a point where I needed to make concept art and test shots for my animation film. You know, the fun stuff. And the problem with working on fun stuff is that I forget to take breaks. When my RSI was at its worst, I struggled to hold a book open, because that put tension on my thumbs, right? Flipping a page hurt me. Showers were a hassle, and so was brushing my hair. I didn't even like opening doors. I seriously looked into just amputating my hands and getting bionic ones instead, just so the pain would be gone. I mean, being a cyborg would be kind of cool, right? Except that stuff is expensive, and besides pain, you lose all sense of feeling, so that would kind of suck. I was desperate for the pain to stop, and when pain persists all day, every day, time seems to slow down into infinity. It was honestly the shittiest time of my life. The pandemic caused stress and uncertainty. I was in a relationship that was really bad, was rapidly building up student debt because the library I worked at was in lockdown too, so no income. And I also had other vague, unrelated health issues. I needed a lot of help with basic stuff, like carrying groceries. And people sympathize when you have a broken arm, but as I'm sure that anyone with an invisible illness can relate to, plenty of people don't understand what you're going through when they can't see anything wrong. People assumed I exaggerated. A conversation with an acquaintance or a family member was something I never looked forward to, because my condition always became the topic that they lingered on. The date I was supposed to graduate came and went. My classmates got their degrees and I watched from afar, while I saw pictures on WhatsApp. The timeline of milestones I thought I was supposed to follow was gone. I had no direction left, only uncertainty. I still needed to graduate, but with no end in sight to the pain. Just thinking about work stressed me out. At the time, I was convinced that I couldn't do normal work ever again, that I couldn't do animation anymore. But here I am, and this is how I overcame it. So I thought because I had a physical injury, the solution would be something physical too, right? It wasn't. I'd seen several physical therapists and doctors, been to multiple hospitals, and even sought out alternative medicine practices. After over a year of constant pain, my doctors declared that they had exhausted all treatment options, and the only thing left that I could do was learning to live with the pain. They recommended a specific pain therapy at a revalidation center. I went to follow the program because I was lost. There was nothing else for me to do. It turned out to be my salvation. So people who start that program don't usually get better. They learn to find peace with their condition and to improve quality of life, maybe reduce some of the pain. It was a full-time program, so it was like going to school again. I was put in a group of 12 people, mostly women, and most of them much older than me. Everyone had a different reason to be there, but we were all suffering from some form of chronic pain. We got a schedule for the upcoming weeks in which we had group stuff like theoretical lessons on pain, gymnastics, woodworking therapy, swimming therapy, and mindfulness. And we had individual appointments with specialists, which was a combination of physical therapists and psychologists. We had to set goals, and for me these were being able to finish my graduation film and being able to carry and care for a baby, because I really wanted kids in the future. I got a training schedule to follow at the revalidation center's gym that was designed to work towards these goals. So what I learned in those months was a huge paradigm shift for me. It took time for me to process this, but I'm going to try and condense this for you in this video. There was not only a physical aspect to my carpal tunnel syndrome, but also a psychological one. Like I mentioned, I had a lot of bad things going on in my life, and all these things caused stress. Stress causes tension in your muscles. My wrists were already a weak point in my body, so the tension there affected me worse than in other regions. And remember that I mentioned that I had vague unrelated health issues? Turns out they weren't that unrelated after all. I had migraines and constant tinnitus, which is a different layer of hell. But both were also sponsored to me by stress. And because the downward spiral I had been in, I had become afraid of pain. Rest was needed to alleviate pain, but I had taken so much rest that my muscles had gotten very weak because I wasn't using them. And in turn, they would be overburdened much quicker. Every time I felt something tingling or jolting in my fingers, I would panic because I didn't want more pain. Didn't want to damage my hands any further. Because that's how I looked at it. I thought I had damaged my hands by using them too much. I'd gotten so afraid to use my hands altogether, even for the simplest of things. That fear of pain added to my other sources of stress. And the only thing I needed to get rid of was exactly that. Stress. And yes, you still need to take it easy and build up the muscles again. And that takes time. I suddenly had hope. Perhaps there could be an end to this after all. I dared to dream of having a job and independence. About drawing and writing. Going on an adventure, see the world. Every week I could draw a little longer. I could lift a little more. I was too young to be done with life. But I would do things at my own pace, challenge my limits, but never exceed them. I had broken the vicious circle. Little battles, big victories. So where am I at now? I'm very happy to say that most days it doesn't even cross my mind I once had carpal tunnel syndrome. I had it for 2 years without an end in sight, and now it lives on the edge of my memories. I took control back of my own life, ended that bad relationship, graduated, found a job. Those other vague unrelated health issues faded away with my stress and pain. So for the people suffering from a similar thing, don't be in denial. It sucks to take rest and not do anything productive. I get that. But you need rest, but not too much. Changing habits is annoying and difficult. But if the way you're living is leading to chronic pain, it needs to be done. You see often that people only change their habits when shit already hit the fan. Don't be stupid. Don't think it can't happen to you. Don't look away from what you don't want to see. Take good care of yourself, both mentally and physically. Cut stress factors in your life wherever you can. Remember to stop and smell the roses. And see you all next time.